You did an interview and you talked about this whole situation. You said, I don't understand why the NBA doesn't provide athletes with an apartment, a car you could drive, a liaison, a chaperone, a security. When you go play in Europe, you have it like that.
Yep.
And, this is how you wash your clothes. You don't need 1,000 chains. You don't need 7 watches on one wrist or 7 cars. You have one butt. Just because you met her in the club doesn't mean she's the one you bring back to your house.
Exactly. See, and this is the deal. You get all this bravado. They brag about you coming in. Oh man, here's such and such. And the girls all of a sudden run to your section. They hit you with the sweet voice. You think, and this is so funny, Charles Barkley used to say, man, you think you got that new contract because you're talented. No, you got that new contract because the guy in front of you got a good contract and you got 5% more than he did.
Huh.
So when the NBA, my first year I was at $230,000 a year and I was in the top 5 paid on the squad.
Mm.
Right now, you're getting contracts. There's NIL deals that are making quadruple what I made in my whole life.
Right.
So when you get that, you don't realize, you don't know. The best thing about LeBron is that he had his crew.
Mm-hmm.
He had this guy go to that school. He had his mom knowing what she did, and he put people around him to take care of the problem, and he could trust them. I've been in a situation when I lost a lot of money with an account, right? There's guys that have been bamboozled, robbed, that thought they were doing great.
Mm-hmm.
So in Europe, when I pulled up, man, I had a BMW. I was in Dominique's old house. So Dominique had played the year before I got there. And
was this in Greece?
Yeah, in Greece.
He told me about this. I remember in our interview, he said there was like gold toilets.
Yes.
He said it was wild.
House.
Yeah, he told me about this house.
Yeah,
okay,
the house, 3 level. And first thing I wanted.
It was insane, yeah.
The Greek team asked me would I come over for a vacation and visit. I went over there and visit, and it was just one of the most breathtaking moments I've ever had as a player, to be treated the way I was treated in Greece. They gave you the world. And so I was like, how can I turn this down? And I was the highest paid guy in Europe at that time. I mean, soccer or basketball. So it was just an offer I couldn't refuse.
Well, right, because you had 2 years left on your Celtics contract,
Mm-hmm.
but you had a buyout option.
Right.
So they basically bought out your contract and gave you $7 million for 2 years, which is $3.5 million a year, which, like you said, was the highest paid athlete in all of Europe, more than the soccer players.
Yeah. I made more than that. I mean, it took a lot for me to leave, the NBA, but they took care. And you don't pay for anything, especially in those days. Everything is taken care of.
Well, yeah, I heard the house they put you in had like gold toilets.
Something like that. Something like that. It had kitchen on every four floors, all marble, 14 karat gold. It was a stupid house.
First thing I wanted, but right outside the house is dirt roads. So you're in this huge mansion, no phone jacks. You got to use your cell phone. And that was an air conditioner, and it can work from the basement. So all you girls that say, I was in the basement, I didn't hear my phone. You're a liar. Air conditioners work. Yeah, that house was, but I had a driver. I had an interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
And these 2 dudes were with me everywhere. Driver would park and they'll just wait. And we would go in, and then he was security too. And you knew how things worked. You knew where to go. When I was on Chicago, man, I say this all the time, Judd Bushler, Steve Kerr, they made sure I knew how to get to the airport, back to the game and back. Let's go to dinner with us, to a restaurant over here. You don't have that. You come in there with your crew, and your crew doesn't know anything. They're not from that town.
Mm-hmm.
You run into some bad situations. I think they would take care of their product better. In soccer, they do this. The way I'm telling you is how they do it in soccer.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, we talked about the whole situation with Telfair when he was in front of Justin's in New York. Remember that whole situation? His Rockefeller chain got snatched. And then a whole situation happened over that which ended in Fabulous getting shot. Not to say that Telfair's crew had anything to do with it, but I'm saying it was the chaos of it all, which ended with a famous rapper getting shot, and he ended up losing a $20 million Adidas deal over this whole situation. You're hanging out at Justin's, which is Diddy's old restaurant, and someone snatches your chain. It was a Rockefeller chain?
Yep.
Okay. What happens?
Somebody snatched my chain. It was like, and he up. Nah, right. I don't know.
But it wasn't like an armed robbery. It was like someone just grabbed it, right?
Yeah. It was somebody just grabbing it, ran off.
Right.
Type of thing. It was like I had I was with my ex-wife at the time, and while I was driving the Flying Spur, and I parked it right in front of Justin's. So I get out, and we go in and they give us our table, we sitting down. A couple of minutes later, the valet was like, oh, they towing the cars, you gotta move the car. So I get out, move the car, whatever. When I'm coming back in, the kid came off the wall, just shoot, took off. I turned around looking at him like, just took off running.
But then Fabulous gets shot. And then the rumor was like, oh, okay, this was retaliation for the chain snatching from someone from your crew. And it turned into a whole big thing, which from what I understand isn't even true.
Yeah, because that's what the newspaper got to do, sell they shit. And then I'm connected to the NBA. So, of course, that's an easy sell.
Was that the reason why you lost your deal with Adidas?
Yep.
It was a $20 million deal.
Yep. And I had like a $6 million check pending right there.
So they just snatched that right back.
And yep.
Yeah,
and
you said you lost $20 million in
Adidas
one
is
night.
super bogus for that.
Yeah.
Adidas is super bogus. If you go to my documentary and they ask Adidas, like, why y'all signing Sebastian? Like, what he brings to Adidas? And they was like, street credibility. That's
street credibility?
Yeah,
they said that?
That's on my movie. Y'all could look that up. That's right
wild.
There. And this is the head of Adidas. What he bring? Street credibility. Soon some street shit supposedly jump off, y'all go snatch all the money back.
Which he was essentially the victim in, but this is what happens when you have a big crew of people. You got to bring your whole neighborhood with you. You know, Coney Island's in the house, taking care of your projects. Like,
right, it's our turn.
It's our turn. You know, and he's one of these guys who was a superstar in high school, who, you know, like we talked about, he was on the cover of Slam with LeBron. And that the caption was, these two guys are the future of the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where he was positioned. And just a couple of bad turns along the way, and, you know, a couple of trades, and it didn't work out here, didn't work out there. He didn't have the career that he was supposed to have.
Right. So
and I think you could really point the finger at him always trying to take care of the people around him as opposed to focusing completely on himself.
Because no one, he wasn't allowed to. You know what I'm saying?
He was allowed to.
No.
He's a grown man.
I know it seems
He's
like
a grown man.
But this is the difference.
At one point you could say, listen, I ain't got it anymore, okay? I'm sorry. You're going to have to do it for yourself. Yes, you can go and the one time out of 20 I'm telling you no is this one time, and y'all going to have to just deal with it.
Right. Easier said than done.
Allen Iverson was the biggest victim of this.
One of them.
And I saw him. I remember seeing Allen out with like 20 guys. It was crazy to watch.
Antoine Walker. But let me tell you what happens. Well, first things first. Those guys did what was necessary. Those guys made sure everybody around them enjoyed their lifestyle, their life for the amount of time. My cousin Sabrina and my brothers, my cousin Russell, we all lived in the mansion in Detroit. They all thank me for that time because even though it was my life, they were living it with me. And so they got to, you know, like my daughters got to be on private flights, and to the point where my little girl didn't even know it was. She goes, why are we taking this plane? Let's take the little plane like we did. And then like, she wasn't understanding when we were at LAX. She was like,
why are we around all these people?
Who are these savages?
TSA, what is that?
I got to drag this thing for how long? You know, it's
security, huh? No, I'm just, the plane's right there. I'm just going to walk out the door.
So it's, they are allowed to live this life. The difference is somebody was so smart with LeBron, and I'm going to use LeBron because LeBron did a show. What was it on HBO? Survivor's Remorse. It showed how you can get caught up into these situations. But understanding the community, I remember I told my mom, "Yo, Mom, I'm gonna buy you a house you don't have to clean. I'm popping buy you a car you don't have to fix. We're gonna live in a house together and all of that I did, not knowing that I should have. I was blessed. The best way of doing it is tell people, hey, I can't feed you from the limbs of the tree, but I'm gonna feed you from the fruit of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, tell everybody, hey, first 3 years, anybody going now, said, hey, I'm gonna get a signing bonus, but that's not a signing bonus because I'm gonna have to pay taxes on that in the back. But if they give me a signing bonus and I got 8 people I'm gonna take care of, each of them are getting $100,000. That's $800,000 out of the way. Then you could tell them, hey, if I were you guys, I would get together. I would pool the money together. Let's buy some franchises. That way, y'all can keep making $100,000 a year the more franchises we buy. I'm not saying this, but when I heard Chris Brown had 14 Burger Kings, I know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know that Rick Ross got Wingstop. I don't.
Look at Shaq.
Yeah.
Shaq got a whole food empire.
Whole food empire.
Yeah.
I understand it. If somebody had taught us this is what you should do and everybody was in understanding, cool. I bought a 40,000 square foot house. It was $500,000.
Cheap.
It's now selling, you said it to me, it's now selling for $8.9 million.
Yeah.
And to be in the middle of Detroit. Brand new, beautiful. Right. I snuck in. Beautiful.
You snuck into your old house?
I snuck into my old house.
Isn't it like a church now or something? Or?
No, it was owned by the Archdiocese when I bought it.
Okay. Oh, no, yeah.
And then
I think an architectural firm bought it and they're redoing the whole thing. Yeah.
Beautiful. They did an unbelievable job. But it's things that you're not taught what to do and what to say and how to go about it. Shaq was blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq had his mom and his dad was like, y'all got to go through us and he ain't doing nothing till this is in the place. One of the best ones I heard was Jordan, Deontay Jordan. His mom wouldn't let him buy anything until the second deal. And the second deal came around and he bought an Aston Martin. That I know you have to take off your legs to put in, but he finally got the car he wanted. I don't know if he still has it, but she was smart enough to say the first contract is going to be the roots. The second contract you can spend, you can wild out a little bit, but knowing that money doesn't last forever.